Interesting week for corporate governance. We learned that one of the most respected institutions on Wall Street countenanced 2 million bank fraud transactions committed by 5,300 people, and that the top corporate managers devised the system to put incentives and threats of firing on the lower-ranking employees, that they maintained this system knowing that there were at least 1,000 employees they had fired for fraud, and that they failed to monitor whether these accounts were actually authorized. And so in this week, when we find about 2 million criminal, fraudulent transactions at just one big corporation, we're told that the only problem in corporate governance is that CEOs are annoyed having to talk about shareholder proposals. A real corporate governance hearing would not be one where we would consider a bill put forward by the chairman of the full committee that would eliminate the clawback provisions applicable to this case. Clearly, those who left the company, or those who are staying with the company, and got $100 million bonuses and incentive packages should be called to answer, but the SEC hasn't finalized the regulations. We're throwing around the term gadfly, and so I checked with Jeff Foxworthy about what it means. If you care about conflict minerals, you might be a gadfly. If you don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, you might be a gadfly. If you get proxy advice rather than simply automatically signing whatever management wants you to sign, you might be a gadfly. If you fail to get your proposal adopted the first time and have the stick-to-itiveness to propose it again, you might be a gadfly. And if you believe that Wall Street values are not the sole determinant of human morality, you might be a gadfly. This is a hearing about whether we're going to have real capitalism, where the owners control the companies, or whether we're going to continue to have crony capitalism, which is so much more popular. The PACs that contribute to members of Congress are all controlled by the CEOs. And we have the crony capitalism that says whatever management wants to do, they get to do, and the owners of the company have no right to stop them. Now, part of the attack on capitalism is to tell investors that it is virtually illegal for them to consider anything other than earnings per share in making an investment. That if they choose to care about not investing in Iran, that they're prohibited from doing so and they won't be given the information. I would say that it is the SEC's job to protect investors, and that means all investors, including those who care about Iran's nuclear programs, about conflict minerals, about the money that is going from corporate treasuries to this end around our campaign finance laws. Investors who are deprived of the right to know basically have their money taken from them. They can't make their own investment decisions. Ms. Simpson, we're here to protect shareholder value. Is it true that your organization is the shareholder for far more shares than anyone else on all the rest of the panelists combined? Does PERS have more than Mr. Copeland's organization? How many billion are we talking about?
CalPERS is responsible for over $300 billion.
Okay, if anyone on the panel controls over 100 billion, can you please raise? No hands are going up. So we're here to protect shareholder value, but we only have one major shareholding organization testifying. Mr. England, you proposed that the $2,000 figure was too small, but then you said it should be a longer holding period than 1 year. Our tax laws define long-term investor sometimes as 6 months, at best 1 year. If we're going to say that you're not a long-term investor for purposes of the proxy statement, shouldn't we take away your capital gains allowance as well on the same basis?
Well, let me be clear. You're making some headway in your effort to regulate corporations. In 2000, we had 6,000 of them, and you've got it down to 4,500 now. So there are fewer of these companies to be worrying about that are incorporated. I think that
Mr. England, are you talking about publicly traded corporations?
publicly traded, yeah.
Okay. So
That's what we're talking about, I think, those regulated by the SEC. And there's a diminishing number of those. And I would submit that some of the regulatory overkill has something to do with that.
and then part of it also is the corporate merger mania that occurs on Wall Street, where one of those corporations buys another one of those corporations. So there's,
and why do they do that?
and then we have a lot of private equities making a lot of money.
Well,
Anyway, are you holding out for more than a one-year period of time that somebody has to invest in a company in order to put forward a proxy proposal?
I want to restore some balance to a process, and I think $2,000 ownership share
I'm asking about the
held
length
for
of
1
time.
year
Length
is
of
not
time.
enough.
Are you arguing, I know you're arguing for more than $2,000. Are you arguing for longer than 1 year?
I would personally make that a little bit longer, yes.
If we do the tax code as well, I'll be with you. I yield back.
Emma yields back. Mr. Holt.